Is March 7th, 2017, and my name is Bill McCamley. I'm a state representative from Las Cruces and Mesilla, up here at the legislature for your daily update. And today was a very, very slow day. Once again, it's almost 11 o'clock at night. We're going pretty late now. There has been a strategy by the Republicans to basically ask questions on pretty much every bill that hits the floor, even if they're fairly non-confrontational. So, for instance, we took an hour tonight talking about a bill to set up a license procedure for lactation advisors for women who are breastfeeding. So that's the kind of stuff we're dealing with generally. But there was a good bill that got passed today, a bill that would allow for computer science to count as either a math or a science credit in high schools. Actually passed the House of Representatives. It started as a Senate bill, went through the whole process over there, went through the whole process over here. Debbie Sadignana, who's a rep from Albuquerque, and Jacob Candelaria, who's a senator from Albuquerque, carried the thing as main sponsors. I helped get it started and shepherd it through a little bit, and that got through. And that's going to be a good thing because almost everybody uses, hello, Doreen. That's Doreen Gallegos from my area of the world. Anyways, people are going to need computer science skills, and not just in computer programming jobs, but in all sorts of other jobs that are becoming available in the 21st century. So the more we can do to prepare our students for these types of new jobs, the better off we're going to be. There were a bunch of other little bills that got done. I'm not going to bore you with all the details of them, but I also wanted to spend some time talking about the Trumpcare proposal today, the proposal by House Republicans and the president to overhaul the Affordable Care Act. Apparently, it's going to involve cutting Medicare funding in 2020 and replacing it with a block grant. Well, here's the thing with block grants. They usually don't provide as much money as the straight-up funding mechanisms do for these health care programs. And here in New Mexico, where 44% of our population is on Medicaid, and I meant Medicaid, not Medicare, but where 44% of our population is on Medicaid, if we move to that kind of funding formula and there's not as much money there, a couple things need to happen. Either everyone on Medicaid gets less benefits, or, which is, and the second is probably the more likely, is that less people will be available for Medicaid. So rather than having people have insurance so they can go see a doc on a regular basis, I'm really scared that if this goes through and Medicaid funding is cut, we're going to go back to the bad old days where people did not have health insurance and only went to the emergency room for all of their health care needs. Once again, and I've said this before, this is bad for two reasons. Number one, it's really expensive when you don't get a health problem figured out early. You get it done later. The example I always use is if you cut your arm and you don't get it taken care of and get the infections taken care of early, it gets infected, it goes in the arm, they go to the emergency room, cut it off. That's really expensive, and we pay for that anyway. And secondly, that's a terrible situation for the person who's getting their arm lopped off. And that analogy can be used for all sorts of healthcare issues, from heart attacks to cancer, et cetera, and so on. So that's something that you should ask your federal representatives, and it's something that we as a state are going to have to deal with if this Trumpcare proposal goes through. So we'll be moving on to do probably some heavier bills here in the next couple of days, and I'll be letting you know about those. But as always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns on these or any other issues, I'd love to talk with you more and answer them if I can, and hope everyone's having a great night. Be back at you tomorrow. Bye.